Did you know? The Mario Party games have a fair amount of unused and altered content. When Wario and Luigi encounter a miss, such as failing a game or having to pay up to Bowser, they say,
"So I missed."
And
Oh!
in the Japanese version, however, both Wario and Luigi would say,
"Oh my God!"
Oh my God!
This was changed due to Nintendo of America's stance on real-world religious references in games. There are also a few mini-games that were cut from Mario Party's final release that can still be found in the game's data. The games are all or nothing, where the player would simply choose between 3 random blocks with either Bowser's or Mario's mark inside. Same game, where the player would ground pound groups of colored blocks to remove them and find the treasure underneath. And Yoshi's Tongue Meeting, a somewhat unfinished minigame where you have to deliver a baby Wiggler to its mother using Yoshi's tongue. There's also Tour de Mario, an inaccessible cycling minigame that takes you to Bumper Ball Maze 1 as Wario when you try to access it, and finally a minigame called Bungee Jump, which can't be accessed at all. Some of the minigames that did make it into Mario Party required the player to rotate the controller's analog stick rapidly with the palm of their hand. In some cases, this led to severe blistering, burns, laceration, punctures, and cuts. The damage resulted in a lawsuit which led to Nintendo potentially giving out $80 million worth of padded gaming gloves. Players would have to call Nintendo and request the gloves, and because most players weren't aware of the lawsuit, the actual cost to Nintendo was much less than $80 million. Paper Mario was originally going to be a sequel to Super Mario RPG and was titled Super Mario RPG 2. The game was renamed Mario RPG 64 after complications arose with Super Mario RPG's developer, Square. From then on, development was based on a single image created by Naohiko Aoyama. Aoyama made the image 3D but gave it the atmosphere of a picture book by using 2D art assets. The game was renamed to Mario Story closer to release, possibly due to its aesthetic similarities with Yoshi's Story. During development, the game had another connection with Yoshi's Story. Early screenshots show that the Yoshi series character, Poochie, was going to appear in the game. It's unknown if Poochie would have had a significant role in the game or if this was intended to be a cameo appearance. Paper Mario was also planned to release for the Nintendo 64 disk drive add-on. It was later decided to make the game cartridge-based as the disk drive was a commercial failure, only selling 15,000 units. Paper Mario also has several Easter eggs. If you wait until after the jingle that plays on the chapter title cards for around 10 seconds, a complete version of the Super Mario Bros. Theme song will start playing. In the Boo Mansion, if you go through the door across the hall from the mansion's entrance and jump into the jar inside, Mario will emerge as his original 8-bit sprite. This was a repeat of an Easter egg in Super Mario RPG, and a similar Easter egg appeared in Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. If you go to Mario's house, you can find Luigi's diary in the house's secret basement. In the diary, Luigi says how he remembers the carefree days when we played golf and tennis and had parties, referencing Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, and the Mario Party games. Later diary entries reveal Luigi's fear of ghosts along with his desire to have his lead role in his own adventure. These entries are referencing Luigi's Mansion, which was in development at the same time as Paper Mario. Luigi's Mansion returned the reference. The ghost Neville can be seen reading a book in the game titled Mario Story, Paper Mario's Japanese name. There are also a few notable Easter eggs in Luigi's Mansion. If you confront King Boo before the end of the game, he will say, "I will not give up my favorite decoration. I like Mario just where he is." This is a reference to Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, when Han Solo was trapped in Carbonite and Jabba the Hutt says, "I will not give up my favorite decoration. I like Captain Solo where he is." Both Mario and Solo being sealed away seems to reinforce this connection. Before going into the game's training room, a menu will appear showing you different controller options. If you wait for a couple of seconds, the music track will change to a funkier beat and 19 notes will play during a portion of the song. These 19 notes are actually Totaka Song, a song that is hidden in almost every game composer Kazumi Totaka has worked on. Another version of Totaka Song is in the game's data but goes unused. The song sounds like it's being played on a piano and could have been used in Melody Pianissima's musical quiz at some point in development. According to Luigi's Mansion's director, Hideki Kono, Luigi's Mansion was originally going to be released on the Nintendo 64. Kono said that ideas for the game had already been put to paper with the N64 in mind. Evidence for this N64 style starting point also exists in the games. A texture of Daisy from Mario Tennis 64 can be found in the game's data, along with the sound clip from Super Mario 64 that was used for when Mario enters a painting. Additionally, in the Luigi's Mansion beta, there was a timer on the Game Boy Horror. It's speculated that the timer was used as a countdown and that Luigi had a fixed amount of time to save Mario until he was lost forever. It's also speculated that this timer could have simply been used to display a time limit for the game's E3 demo. There are also some unused renders of Luigi, and it's thought these renders were intended for use in the game's ending. One render is of a depressed Luigi holding a flower. Another is of a somewhat pleased Luigi showing a peace sign. And the last render is of a pleased Luigi showing two peace signs. It's thought these renders were displayed based on how well you did in the game, with the Luigi showing two peace signs representing the best ending, the Luigi showing a single peace sign representing a good ending, and the depressed Luigi representing the worst ending. If the timer was counting down to a situation where Mario was lost forever, this depressed Luigi render would best represent that outcome. What's possibly more interesting is an unused model for Mario within the game's data. The model is clearly different to the model used to represent Mario when he's trapped in King Boo's painting. The model was also stretched to match Luigi's proportions and is grouped with the Poltergust 3000. The geometry on the model is simpler than Mario's endgame model with fewer polygons, suggesting it was from an earlier point in development. Although it's impossible to say for sure what the model was used for, it could be a leftover from some sort of multiplayer component that required both Mario and Luigi. The model is stretched out, presumably so it could be rigged to Luigi's skeleton to reuse Luigi's animations during testing. The model also shares Luigi's gloves. This could be so that the model fit the existing animations where Luigi was handling the Poltergust 3000. One last major leftover component is the game's stereoscopic 3D mode. The game was planned to be playable in 3D, and the GameCube is actually capable of rendering stereoscopic 3D. Nintendo planned to release a 3D TV peripheral that connected to the GameCube. The idea was scrapped, as Nintendo releasing the device would have cost much more at retail than the actual game and console. This could also be why Nintendo chose to make Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon for the Nintendo 3DS instead of the Wii U. Well, that's all for today, but don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And make sure you check out DidYouKnowGaming.com, where we post gaming trivia every single day. If you like this video, check out our other videos. And if you want to check out some of my content, check out my top 5 Easter eggs in gaming.